Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another wonderful lesson with Mr. Weezy. So, juniors, it is just you guys. So let's have some fun, shall we? Kickoff, we're going to skip. This involves chapters 5. We are skipping over chapter 5. So we're not going to worry about it. We're going to go right into law of sines. So, law of sines and what we're going to get into next lesson with law of cosines are dealing with what happens when we have a triangle that is not a right triangle. Can we still use these trig functions? You betcha. So, law of sines is going to be a ratio of the sides and sines of the angles. So this is what it turns out to be. We have sides A, B, and C with angles A, B, and C. Notice how they're opposites. So angle A is opposite of side A. Angle C, side C, angle B. Yep. So how this works is it's the ratio of the side A over sine A equals side B over sine B, side C over sine C. If you want the proof to that, just go to page 629. You can look it up. You can see it there. I'm going to skip over it, though. So that's what we're going to be using to solve this stuff. Maybe. Here we go. So, law of sines, in order to use it, you have to know two of the sides and an angle, or two of the angles and a side. You have to have two of the three, either angles or sides, complete in order to do it. And overall, one full part of that has to be complete. So if you have a side, you have to have at least one with its angle as well. You can't have two of the sides and then the completely other one's angle. So, solve for triangle A, where A is 46, C is 63, and my marker just broke. Awesome. Hold that thought. So, just like with in class, we have these little snafus, but it's okay. I got another marker. So, we have a triangle A that is 46, C is 63, and then side C is 56. Round the lengths of the sides to the near tenth. So, we need to find what the other pieces of information. Well, we know that if we add the three angles up, they have to be 180 because it's a triangle. We have two of the angles. We know A is 46 and C is 63. We could find B just by doing this. We don't even have to do any trig. So if you subtract over the 46 and the 63, which 46 and 63 gives you 109. 180 minus 109 is 71. So that part's figured out already. So now let's set this all up. So we have A over sine 46. We have little b over sine 71. And 56 over sine of 63. So, let's start by doing these two first. So, if that's pretty much what we're doing, is we're going to make this into proportions. So, we can cross multiply and solve for the b. So, these two times each other would result in b sine 63 equaling the other way 56 sine 71. Well, to get b by itself, we're going to divide over that sine of 63. So in our calculators, we're going to do sine, actually let me back this up, 56 sine 71, close it, divide sine 63. Now, if you want to put this entire front in a set of parentheses to group it together, that's fine. You can leave it how it is because multiplication go together, or multiplication and division go together. So these here will work it itself out order of operations wise. And we get 59.42 for B. which to the nearest 10th would just be 4. Okay, so now we're going to exclude this middle one and do the outside proportion. So A times sine 63 would equal the other cross of 56 sine 46. So we would again divide over the sine of 63. So I'm going to do the shortcut and just go up and get it. So 56 sine of, we are 46, divided by the sine of 63, which is 45.2. Let's see, we were inches, so 59.4 inches and 45.2 inches. So that's how law of sines is going to work. We're setting up that proportion and solving for what we need to. So another one just like it. Again, we have 2 of the angles. We have our third thing, our side, but it's not including the B. However, knowing the 2 angles, we can find B, and then we have our complete set. So again, if we add the 3 angles together, we get our 180. So 50 plus the 33.5 plus our B equals 180. So if you put those two together, 50 and 33.5, you would get 88.5. So if we subtract that, B ends up being 96.5 degrees. So let's set it up. Side A we don't know, but we know angle A is 50. B is 76. And our angle B is 96.5. Lastly, C we don't know, but we know this angle is 33.5. So let's start on the left side first. Let's find A. Cross multiply. We have A sine 96.5 equaling the other cross, 76 sine 50. And we're going to divide by sine of 96.5 to get it by itself. A by itself. So that's what's going in the calculator. 76 sine 50. Close that up. That's going to be important though. Make sure you close that. Make sure you close the 50 mark here. So then divide by sine 96.5. And we get 58.59. Which will round that up to 6. So A equals 58.6. It does not give us units, so we'll just leave it as that. So, other cross now. We would have C times sine 96.5, this cross. And then this cross of equaling 76 sine 33.5. We're going to divide both sides by the sine of 96.5. So C is going to equal so for 76 sine of 33 second insert 0.5 divided by sine of 96.5. So 42.2. All right, so now this time we have one angle but 2 sides. So we're going to have to find at least one more angle before we could do anything else. So we have our complete, well, I guess we do have our complete set of sides, so we could really roll with this. So if we set this up, we're going to have 81 over sine 43 equaling B is 62 over sine B, and then C over sine C. So we can start with this here cross. So we're going to have 81 sine B. So the first cross here, second cross equaling 62 sine 43. Right, so sine B, get by itself, we would divide by 81. And to get rid of sine, we're going to do sine inverse of that other side. So hit second sine. Here we're going to need it all in parentheses. So 62 sine 43, close that, divide by 81, and then close the whole thing. And we end up with looking at the wrong spot, 31. Now, key here is we actually have two different ways this could go. It could be 31, but keep in mind trig functions only return values between 0 and 90. So the other side of this is if we took 180 minus 31, we could get 149 as well. Now, we'll be able to see what this last one could be here momentarily. So our other thing we can do now is we can cut this, well, actually hold that thought. We have to find that third angle first before we can go ahead. Now, if you think about this, 31 is less than 43. So if these are all the same ratio, if our tops go smaller, this here has to go smaller in angle as well. It couldn't go bigger. Plus, what's 43 plus 149? Well, 149 plus 43, we're greater than 180. So it has to be 31. So if that one's 31, we could do 43 plus 31 plus C equaling 180. 43 and 31 is 74. So C, when we subtract 74 over, we would get 106 degrees. So this one here is 31, 106. Now we have enough to find our little c. So again, cover that up. 81 times sine of 106. And the other cross, c times sine of 43. So if we divide by sine of 43, c ends up with, so 81 sine 106 divide sine 43, and we get 33.68. Oh, see, there's my mistake right here. I didn't close this off. That's why it's off. So let me try this again. I'm going to put a parenthesis in there to close that off. And that's better. If you think about this is a bigger angle, they should be bigger than these. Which is why that had me confused at 133. So this one here will be 114.2. Again, no units, so we'll just leave that as it is. And so now we've completed it. We found our two other angles. We found our third side, and we're golden. One other thing you can do with this is you can find area of those triangles that aren't right triangles using this as well. So it's 1/2 BC, so the B part, and then this, or the B side and the C side here. And then sine of A, so the angle in between. And that'll give us, so two of the sides with the angle in between is what you're dealing with. And that works for C, for B, for whatever. So find the area of a triangle having two sides of length 24 and 10 and an included angle of 62. So we would set this up as A equals 1/2 our one side 24 times the other side 10 sine of 62, the angle in between. So when you do that, I'm going to use 0.5. So 24, 10, sine 62. So 105.95, which is going to round up to 106. So 106 meters squared. And that's it. So if we do one more, A again is going to equal 1/2 our one side of 8, the other side of 12, sine our included angle is 135. So 0.5 times 8 times 12 sine 135. Close it. Turn, we get 33.9, which, let's round it up to 34. This is again is meters squared. So that's how that works. Last question we got here now. So, two fire lookout stations are 20 miles apart with Station B directly east of Station A. Both stations spot a fire on the mountain to the north. The bearing from Station A to the fire is north 50 degrees east. The bearing from Station B is north 36 degrees west. How far to the nearest tenth of a mile is the fire from Station A? So if we think of this as A is here, B is here, and then C is the fire. So it says that the fire stations are 20 miles apart. We also know that the fire from Station A here is 50 degrees north, 50 degrees east. So from straight north, this here would be 50. Well, what would finish this off? Well, this here would have to be 40. Because this would make a right angle. Over here, from going directly up, this one is north 36 degrees west. So again, take 90 minus 36. You end up, this middle should be 54 degrees. So if we set our equation up, we're going to have A sine 40, B sine 54, and then 20 over sine C. Well, we have to be able to find C first, because I mean we have two of the angles, so we can find that, but we have to have a complete one before we could find any sides. So we would have 40 plus 54 plus C would equal 180. 40 and 54 is 94. If you subtract 94 from 180, C ends up with 86 degrees. So if we go to our question now, it says how far to the nearest tenth of a mile is the fire from Station A. So we're not even going to worry about B. We're just going to focus on this A part. So A sine 86 when we cross multiply, 20 sine of 40. So we would divide then sine 86. So A would end up being, bring our calculator in. So we're going to do 20 sine 40, close that, divide sine 86. So A would end up being 12 point, and we're rounding to the nearest tenth of a mile, 12.9 miles. I just noticed on my work page, I found from station B. Actually, we need to find station B. I did that one wrong. That is my bad. Find an A. Sorry, guys. I'm messing this up. So we're going to find both. This will be just more practice. This will be good. So the other one, because B is from station A here, this being the A angle. That was my bad. So the other cross, we would get B sine 86. So B sine 86, 20 sine 54. So divide by sine 86. B equals then. So 20, 54. Divided sine 86. 16.2 miles. So there we go. Station B is going to be 12.9 miles away, and station A is going to be 16.2 because the sides are opposite of the angles. That was my bad, and I am sorry. But hey, we got extra practice. This is all good. So, questions, comments, concerns, send me a message, Google Classroom, email, or pan me. Just know, again, pan, I don't check as often, so it might be a little longer before I get back to you, but I will check that stuff. Anyways, that is it for this lesson, so until next time, guys, we'll talk to you later.